Gamers, here's the one that you have been asking for. This is Skyrim's Let's Play event. We're going to start off a brand new game and a brand new character so you guys can see the opening schematics and everything. I am going to go with a Khajiit character this time because I've never played with one of these guys before. There's not a whole lot of benefits to playing as this character. In fact, they're kind of shunned by most of Skyrim's people, so we're going to see how this goes. Alright. One of the good parts about playing a Khajiit is that during the night hours, when it's dark out, you do have improved vision, so that could help us a little bit. And their claws, the Khajiit claws, actually do about 15 points of damage just to start off with. So, I don't know how much of the fighting I'm going to be doing with just their bare hands, but we'll check it out and see how it goes. So without further ado, here we go. Alright. So in Skyrim there's about 10 different races that you could choose from. Each of them have their own benefits. I'll go through them real quick for you in case you do not know this already. Alright, you got an Argonian race, excuse me. They're kind of like lizard people. They have a ability called Heat Skin, which improves the power of the Hist, which can recover your health about 10 times faster for about 60 seconds. Alright, I'm going to stop there before I get too much into it so we can watch this opening scene. We get started, and for some reason it jumped me into my menu, which is interesting. Alright, this is where you kind of get used to the controls up, down, left, right, and being able to look around a little bit in this opening scene. Alright. So this dude here, who's all muted up, because he's got something wrapped around his mouth.
Hey, you.
That's
finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? The Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. But if they captured you... Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Poor dude got caught in a crossfire.
What village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman
Maybe we'll
is waiting.
stop by Rorikstead and see if we can
Let's
figure
get
out
this
what was
over
happening with this dude, seeing how he got
Debella,
caught stealing
Kinnereth,
horses.
Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at it. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this.
Alright, so race relations in this game are a bit on edge, as you will come to find out.
I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Elod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny, when I was a boy, Imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Alright.
To go inside.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
Inside the house. Now.
Why are we stopping?
Why do you
We're
think?
about to die,
End
dude.
of the line.
About to die.
Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
No, wait, we're not rebels.
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them we weren't with you. This is a mistake.
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Ralof of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
No, I'm not a rebel. You can't do this.
Low kier.
You're not
About to
gonna
get
kill me.
sniped.
Archers!
There it goes. Merc time.
Anyone else
Yeah,
feel
right
like
in the back.
running?
Wait,
Alright.
you there. Step forward. Who are you?
Snoop Dogg. No, we're not going to be Snoop. Alright, so earlier I was telling you about the different races. We're going to go up and we're going to talk about each one quickly. Alright, so here we are with the Argonian race I was telling you about earlier. Alright, so they have some kind of cool abilities, mainly being that they can breathe underwater, but seeing how there's not a whole lot of missions in this game that require you to breathe underwater, it's not that big of a benefit to go with that unless you just want to explore the underside of all the water sources. Then go for it. Their biggest advantage is probably going to be their resist disease ability. Their blood has a 50% resistance to all diseases naturally, but seeing how we don't really run into a whole lot of situations where that's going to be a huge benefit to us, it's not something I'm really interested in. Alright, next up we have the Britain race. These guys are kind of cool if you are a magic user or you want to play as a magic character. They have an ability called Dragon Skin, which can absorb 50% of magicka from hostile spells, which means that if somebody is casting a spell at you and you have this ability triggered, then you will absorb that that energy and be able to use it for your own casting abilities. Alright. Now naturally they have a resistance to magic of 25%, which means later in the game they're easier to kind of stack up some of your resistant bonuses with whenever you're enchanting items. So that might be something that you'll be interested in, because there is a lot of magic in this game. Alright. Now, if we talk about the Dark Elves, I kind of like these characters just because I've always kind of been into characters that can kick a lot of butt with magic, and these guys can definitely get that done. Not so much as the Britain, but their kind of darker mystique is something I'm kind of interested in. They have Ancestor's Wrath, which is for about 60 seconds. Opponents that get too close to you are going to take about 8 points per second of fire damage. So if you got those people that are just getting a little bit too close, you can cast that and tell them to back off a little bit. These guys are resistant to fire by about 50%. And since there's a lot of fire damage coming at you in this game, that is a huge benefit for a lot of playstyles. Now, it's not the only style of elemental damage that'll be coming towards you, but it is definitely there. Alright. The High Elf. One of my favorites, personally, other than the Dark Elf. I usually play an elf character, and this is usually my go-to. And that's because they have a Highborn ability, which is awesome, and they start with an extra 50 magic, which is freaking awesome whenever it comes to casting. They can also regenerate magic faster for about 60 seconds when you cast the Highborn ability as well. So, being a Highborn High Elf, obviously it has its benefits in regards to magic. Alright. when it comes to the Imperials, these dudes, right off the bat, you kind of start off as kind of a dick, if you want to go that way, because you got to see, I mean, we just got caught by Imperials, and they're about to screw us up, as you're about to see here in a minute. They do have the voice of the Emperor, which is kind of cool, because it can calm down near people for about 60 seconds. So if you got people kind of getting all hyped up, you can be like, hey dude, calm down, bro, and use the voice of the Emperor to knock that out. They also have ability to find extra gold anytime gold can be found. They'll always find a couple extra pieces, but seeing how you can buy and sell things in this game, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go that route. And they are probably one of my least favorite of all. Alright, and here is the race that we are going to be playing with through this one, which is the Khajiit. Alright. As I said earlier, these guys have an ability called Night Eyes, which is going to improve my night vision for about 60 seconds in this playthrough. And then we also have the Claws ability, which is cool because the Khajiits do 15 points of damage with that. So we're going to see how that works out for us. Hopefully it does, but I kind of feel like this is going to be kind of rough with this dude. Alright. So now we got the Nord. Alright. So the Nords, man, they got a huge backstory, and if you're into lore, you're going to dig these guys. Alright, but we're not going to dig a whole lot into the lore right now, or even mess with it. We're going to talk a little bit about their abilities, right? So they got the battle cry, which can cause people to take off running like little punks when you cast that, which is cool, because you basically scare the crap out of them and take off running. Just like the Dwemer that we were talking about earlier, the Dark Elves, sorry, the Dunmer. The Dunmer has that resistance to fire. Well, the Nords have resistance to cold, which is freaking awesome. So they can resist frost. Their blood gives them 50% resistance to the cold. So seeing how most of the dragons in this game, which you're going to come to find out, usually spit out both fire or frost. Those two races are going to kind of give you an advantage in that area. Alright. So here we are with the orcs. Alright. The orcs, they can be a little bit ugly to look at, but they are freaking awesome fighters. You get the Berserker Rage ability, where you take half damage and do double damage for 60 seconds. So if you're in there trying to tank some stuff, and that's what you're aiming for is a tank, this is your guy. Alright. For you who are not familiar with the term tank, it's the guy usually in the group who just runs headfirst into battle, and everybody else can kind of attack from afar while that dude is in the heat of the battle and taking all the damage and pretty much dishing it out. Alright, so they have a lot of health and a lot of hit damage. Alright. For those people looking to dual wield weapons, this guy is probably going to be your go-to dude, because they have a natural ability to kick some butt in regards to their fighting abilities. They have something called Adrenaline Rush, which is going to regenerate their stamina 10 times faster for 60 seconds. So that is something that's beneficial whenever you are fighting with weapons, because you'll go through your stamina very quickly as you're laying out the hits. They also can resist poison, which is not all that great. Okay, so the Red Guard, let me think, what was the other race that could resist poison? No, that's it. The poison is just for the Red Guards. Alright, so they can resist poison, so that's kind of cool. Last up is the Wood Elf. Alright, these are kind of the bastard child of Skyrim. You don't see a whole lot of people playing with this race in any playthrough, so maybe I'll do a playthrough later and actually try these guys out. They have an ability called Command Animal, so the animals that are out in the wild, you can cast this on them and they'll become your friend for a little bit and help you fight. But There's not a whole lot of that going on, and you don't typically want to cast that on something that you could kill, so that's not going to do you a whole lot of good. Now, you do have the ability to resist disease, so that's kind of cool. So your Wood Elf and also your Argonian, both of those dudes can resist disease, so I guess that's cool. So why a Wood Elf? Well, Wood Elves are typically really good with a bow, and whenever you're fighting dragons, the bow comes in handy because you got some ranged combat. You're going to have to think about ranged combat in this game, and so I'm going to kind of show you guys a quick trick to at least level up your bow skill to 50 without spending a whole lot of money and time and effort to do that. So when I jump into this game, one of the first things I'm going to do is gain a follower in one of the first towns that we go to, and he's going to help me level my bow skill up to 50. So if you don't know how to do that, then stay tuned because that will be coming. Alright, so as I said, I'm going to be starting with the Gajit. Now that I told you a little bit about the races, we're going to look at some of the customization options here. Across the top of the screen, I'm playing on PS4, so mine is going to be L2 and R2. But if you're on Xbox, you probably got right trigger and left trigger to cycle through these options. Alright, so one of the things I've learned early on in this game is that while the race plays an important role, we're going to look at the options we have here as far as presets and things of this nature. And we have the option to play as a male character, which is what we currently are, or a female character. And we'll talk about some of the advantages of that as well, because if you're a first-time player, you're going to want to know, does it actually make that big of a difference? And the truth is, yes, it does. It does in the fact that whenever you, later in the game, when you're buying and selling items, you're going to come across a lot of merchants in this game. Alright? In your skill trees, which we're going to get into a little bit later, in the skill trees, you have a speech skill. And in the speech skill, one of the perks you can pick up is to, your prices with the opposite sex is better. Alright, and so we'll look at that a little bit later, but seeing how most of the merchants in this game are male merchants, then if you want to take advantage of the price difference, then being a female character is going to work out better for you. And we'll see if we can make that work to our advantage, but seeing how the Khajiit are kind of the outcast in this game, I'm not really sure how well that's going to work anyhow. But we'll go that route anyways, and we'll do a female character. Alright, we're going to cycle through the presets here, see if we see anything we like. I don't at this point, except that one's kind of cool, because it's like kind of like a tiger. But, let's see. Alright, so customizations, complexions. Alright, let's see if we notice a difference. We do. Alright, right off the bat, there's light and dark complexion. Dirt options. There's a slight difference there. I'm not worried about that. Scars. You can give them scars if you want to. It's a little, might be difficult for you to see the scars in this, but it's across the nose there. Or the bridge of the nose. Alright. And then we have war paint options. Alright. And you can change the color of the war paint as well. So, see if we can get some cool war paint going here. Alright. With the Khajiit character, it's a little bit more difficult to see the war paint on some of these. Alright. No, I don't want a big blotch over the side of her face. This'll work. Alright. Nope. Alright, then we got our nose types. Alright. Interesting nose. Nose height. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's look at the eyes. See what we got for the colors here. That's interesting. Why not? Volume, mouse shape, hair. Alright. Do we even have hair? Yep. Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, why not? Let's go with this. Alright. Alright, and the last thing that you have to do in this game is to name your character before you can get started. Across the bottom you'll see I can hit square for PS4 and select that I'm done with customizing my character, and that'll allow me to change the name of the character. As you see across the bottom of the screen, name is currently Prisoner, and we're not going to go with that. We'll go with something a little bit different. So it says, am I done? Finish and name your character. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that, and since we have a Khajiit, which is a cat-like character, let's call you 9 lives. 9 lives, that'll work. Alright.
You with one of the trade caravans, Khajiit? Your kind always seems to find trouble. Captain, what should we do? She's not on the list.
Forget the list. She goes to the block.
By your orders, Captain.
Right.
I'm sorry. We'll make sure your men are turned to elsewhere. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Alright, all seems like we're starting this game off only to have a very quick end.
Some here in Helgen call you a hero, but a hero doesn't use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp his throne. You started this war, plunged Skyrim into chaos, and now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
What was that?
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon
For the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over.
learn our
Alright,
as
nothing
you
to lose
wish.
your head over, man. Chill.
Come on! I haven't got all morning.
Well, at least he was right about that.
My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperials. Can you say the same?
Oh snap, it just got real.
You Imperial bastards!
Justice!
Death to the Stormcloaks!
As fearless in death as he was in life.
Next, the cat!
Fearless. He's headless, dude. Oh snap. Look to the
There it
sky.
Did you hear that?
What is it?
I said, next prisoner.
To the block, prisoner. Nice
Oh
and
snap.
easy.
It's gonna be me. Let's hope I really do have 9 lives. Oh snap, you see the head in the bucket? Did you see it? Oh, that's nasty.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds!
Alright. So with that distraction, I am able to escape.
Jarl, what is that thing? Could the legends be true?
Legends don't burn down villages.
Okay, so that is episode 1 of Let's Play for Skyrim. I'm going to come back and we're going to dig back into this a little bit deeper. Alright, so while we didn't see a whole lot of gameplay, we got a little bit of information to get you started, hopefully. And then we're going to look at some of the customization options we have as far as setting up our controls and things of that nature. Because as you may have noticed, I was only allowed to start the game. I wasn't allowed to adjust any of my controls yet. But now at this point I will be able to. So we're going to come back in here in a minute and get started with episode 2. Alright.